gentlemen, it's Wrestling Wednesday right here on Beyond Ringside Radio Network. This is the To Be Determined show. I'm the architect of intellect, the Wicked Nemesis. Joining me, we have a mixed bag of monkeys tonight. A hell of a lineup, everyone. And tonight, my co-host from across the pond, all the way from London, England. He is the one and only Mad Dog Matt Denton. Matt, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. It's going to be a hell of a lineup. Thank you for stepping in tonight and running the board for us, sir, because you're gonna need it tonight. And tonight, welcome back, the internet darling. His segment, the Smarkrage, is one of the most viewed things we have up on the website and up on the Facebook fan page, the one that only Smarkrage. Corey, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing good. Good to be back. Had a family emergency last week. Good to be back. Let's hit this thing.
How about we?
Well,
hit
Tasha
you
Simone will be
instead?
joining us later on. Oh my God, bam with a forearm. Tasha Simone will be joining us later on. She's actually training tonight, and as everyone knows, she's teaching, she's schooling these kids. So, Tasha, we look forward to your call tonight. We're scheduled to be joined by NWA Wrestling's own Tony Kazina and Hot Like Lava's Crew Jones, and maybe, just maybe, the Human Hand Grenade Danny only. We're hoping, and if Danny is able to call in, he'll be calling in live from Afghanistan, and there will be a little bit of a delay, so we will see about that. Hopefully everything will come through on that. A hell of a weekend for wrestling, just a jam-packed week of wrestling. GCW has events, Progression Wrestling has events. I mean, it's everywhere, but we're going to start right off the bat. Corey, we missed you last week for the Smarkrage, so tell everyone that's listening right now live, Network, those that are going to be listening on podcast, those that are going to be listening to YouTube, what are you raging about this week, sir, in the Smarkrage?
Well, this week on the Smarkrage, it's really more of an observation than it is a rage. You know, I've been a wrestling fan for 30 years, since I was a 4-year-old little boy. And I miss the days of being shocked and awed when you watch something like, oh man, something happened, and just the big spectacle of pro wrestling yesteryear. I miss the days of guys disappearing for months and months or even years only to turn up and be like, oh wow, so-and-so, Undertaker's back, or so-and-so's back. I just miss that. You know, wrestling hasn't really shocked me in the longest time. Now, we talk about shock and awe, and the awe part has always been there for me because these athletes, and I say yes, athletes, are amazing and phenomenal. Now get ready, Matt. I need you to get a basket ready because I'm going to start name dropping. So you ready? Get the basket ready. Guys like that here on the independent scene here in Atlanta, guys like Jimmy Rave, Freddie Ahai, the Washington Bullets, the Hate Junkies, Corey Hollis, the Jagged Edge, Murder One. Guys like that I could sit and watch and just be awed by some of the stuff that they do. In amazement, just how flawless these guys are. And then I sit and wonder, big on Twitter, big on Facebook, how some wrestling fans could say, oh, so-and-so wrestler is boring. This guy's boring. He's boring. He's boring. And then I sit there and I'm like, well, how could you say that? Now I've been pretty guilty for doing that too. If you're not into a match, you're just not into it. But then you got to sit and think, these guys are out there busting their ass. Maybe I'm just spoiled by watching phenomenal indie wrestlers, these guys who go out night in and night out and bust their ass for a millisecond of a chance of possibly being seen by a WWE scout, a TNA scout, a Ring of Honor scout, a Dragon Gate scout, guys like Corey Hollis, who has been recently on Ring of Honor TV as WrestleMania weekend. He did some Ring of Honor stuff. Guys that I've watched, and just amazes me. I'm just in amazement watching these guys. Maybe I'm just jaded, Wicked. Yeah, it's 2013. The cat's out of the bag. Maybe that's the problem. The cat's out of the bag, and everybody knows they're in on it. Like, they get it. So maybe fans are more critical on pro wrestling than they should be. The thing is, like I said, I've grown up watching it. Sometimes I'm more critical than more critical about wrestling. Sometimes I'm not. But like I said, there's times I could sit back and watch it and watch a guy like Fred Ahai and Jimmy Rave, Wicked Nemesis. Those guys have had some battles in the last 6 months. 30-minute battles, back and forth, not knowing who was going to win. And just watch those guys in amazement.
But you see, because you pay your hard-earned money, Corey, you can actually sit here and talk about, more than one promotion and different talent. There's a lot of guys and girls out there that only support one promotion. You support several promotions, so you can have this talk. You can talk about this. A lot of people don't. It's hearsay. When you pay your hard-earned money, you expect more out of the guys, and we, you can do that. But the people who sit back and don't go to these events, they can't bitch.
Yeah, I mean, you talk. Some of these wrestling fans, you're either a diehard wrestling fan for either you're 100% WWE, 100% TNA, 100% Ring of Honor, 100% Dragon Gate. I'm 100% wrestling fan. I watch it. When I'm bored, I watch wrestling. That's what I do. I sit and enjoy it. Hell, I even enjoy women's wrestling. And up until about 3 years ago, before I started to go to Platinum Championship Wrestling and see somebody like Calm Like a Bomb Pandora, see someone like Dementia Rose, the two women that had the first women's blood match in Georgia, and watch those women bleed all over the masquerade is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's that awe, that shock and awe. Like, wow. Two women on the independent scene in Georgia. They work Georgia, North Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee. But these two women are here in Atlanta. First women's blood match ever. Wicked Nemesis, you were there. You were there firsthand managing Calm Like a Bomb Pandora. And it was just amazing. So it bothers me a little bit that some wrestling fans are so critical when all they do is critique one product. You know what, folks? That's it. That's my time, and that's my rage. Wicked Nemesis, I give it back to you.
Well, quick and to the point. First of all, the fans only know what you let them know. The fans are only in as much as we, the talent, let them in on. I kayfabe you. I like you. I consider you kind of a friend. But I kayfabe you because, there's no offense. But you have to watch what goes out there. And it's one thing to discuss what happened after, to give an insight. One thing is to pull the curtain back so far that you can see everybody in the back taking a shit together. If you understand, some people are like, I get that. Some people are like, I have no idea what the fuck that guy just said. But that's okay. But I agree. It's one of those things, Corey, that if you don't support, you can't bitch. At least that's my opinion. But let me ask you a question. Let me ask you both a question. With what happened with what a lot of people consider a subpar WWE out of London, although it was taped. We understand that. We will acknowledge that. Not a lot of people I know watched it, and those that didn't seem to care for anything with the exception of William Regal being on there. And it seems like that's the only time that Regal gets out on Raw is whenever they go across the pond. Now, Matt, I know you were unable to watch Raw because of podcasts and comic book signings and everything else that you had to do, sir. But overall, what was the response? Was WWE all over the TV there, sir?
Not that I noticed. I'll be honest with you, it just seemed like it went largely unnoticed. I mean, it's a bad thing when TNA Wrestling gets more UK TV time than WWE. When TNA came over earlier on this year, they had a few of their stars come onto daytime TV and plug the shit out of the shows. But with WWE, Not so much. It's more radio based over here for WWE.
Yeah, but jumping in, but I think TNA is more of a treat for for wrestling fans in England. They don't get to see wrestling so much. So, WWE comes over there all the time. Wow, WWE guys are here, okay. And TNA's TNA. So when they go over there,
that's not really true now, is it? WWE, all right, WWE do come over more times than TNA do. TNA come over once a year, whilst WWE come over twice a year.
yeah, but TNA makes it a bigger spectacle, and TNA draws more. TNA generally draws a bigger crowd in UK than they do stateside.
Well, that's TNA for you, isn't it?
Do you agree with that, Matt?
I can agree with that.
Because you actually went to a TNA show and you had a good time.
Yeah, I did have a good time. It was just the fact that in the US, people give less of a shit about TNA than the UK fans do.
But maybe because it's more of a treat,
Not really. TNA do the same stuff in the US as they do in the UK and whatnot, and still the US fans don't seem to be taking to TNA that much.
This is just my opinion with this. You guys can agree or disagree. The reason why I feel that is because a lot of the guys from TNA are ex-WWE guys. So the TNA fans have started to go away from that with them being pushed so heavily. With London, it's not like these guys are over all the time. These guys are always, so you're like, oh man, I didn't get to see them when they were WWE, but they're coming over with TNA. So we're going to go see them now. That's just my opinion. That's how I feel about that. But we have several people on tonight. We're going to be talking about GCW. GCW, 2 huge events. Oak Mountain Amphitheater, Oak Mountain State Park, and Birmingham, Alabama this year. Man, a huge event. The Unlucky Charms will be facing High Definition, and you guys heard me talk about it. The last time Cody O'Connor was in the ring with the Unlucky Charms, he about died. So let's hope that doesn't happen this time. But you guys know we're not going to take it easy on him. And then Saturday night, Damon Christopher, the Subconscious Samurai, Common Knowledge, Damon Christopher in singles action in Pell City at the Pell City Civic Center. So as we have dubbed it, Adventures in Ass Whoopins. And yes, I know whoopins is a southern term, but Unlucky Charms are from Southern Ireland. So that's what we're going to start dubbing the Unlucky Charms roll call, if you will. But not only that.
No. If you truly want to go Irish with it, Adventures in Arse Whoopins.
I was going to put Arse Whoopins, but you know how many people would get that over here? No. If we were overseas, it would be Arse Whoopins, but here people are like, you misspelled ass.
Then tell them to use the fucking language we gave them. Come on.
It's English. It's from England. But yes, I did think about that. I jokingly told Damon, because he also mentioned the Arse Whoopins. I told him the same thing I'm telling you. I thought about that, but I just don't think the fans. They already like, you spelled lucky. It's Lucky Charms. I'm like, no, dumbasses. Unlucky Charms. But also, MLW, Magnificent Ladies of Wrestling, will be having an event in May. Make sure you go out and get Calm Like a Bomb Pandora and Nina Monet in customs matches, not fetish matches. Let's take the time to think about that. Customs matches are matches, let's say you want to see Great Cheyenne, Ember O'Neill, Sassy Steffi, Claudia Del Solis, who will be there. There's several women there. Melanie Cruz will be there. Nikki Lane will be there. Jessie Bell will be there, formerly Jessie Bell Smothers. They will all be there. With customs matches, you take what you want and you put these matches. You have a tag team match. You have a triple threat with any of these. Fetish matches are like the hair pulling matches, the feet matches, fake blood matches, matches that totally go to the perverted side. We all know that guys enjoy looking at women. I mean, that's a given. And some guys' fetish are women just fighting. That is true. But Nina Monet and Calm Like Bomb Pandora are not doing fetish matches. Only custom, only real matches. So kudos to them, because they could have took the easy money and did some of the fouler things, some of the more shadier things. But when you have your reputation, when you've actually wrestled the NWA Women's World Champion twice, and a lot of people feel that she should be the NWA Women's World Champion today, no offense to Casey Carlisle, Come Like a Bomb Pandora, you can't do that. You don't see Jazz, you don't see Sassy Steffi, you don't see these women that have made a name for themselves going out and doing these fetish matches. I know some do, and they will remain nameless because they know who they are. But you have to go out. And we're also looking forward to having some of the MLW ladies on prior to the May event. So be looking forward to that. So GCW Friday night, guys, I wish you guys could be there. Corey, I know you're going to be at Progression Pro Wrestling in Atlanta. Corey, there has been a slight change. I know that you are very well informed with these gentlemen. So if you will, let everyone know about this change that has become and fallen upon Progression Pro Wrestling, please, sir.
Yeah, there was a venue change for Progression Pro Wrestling. You can now find it Friday night at 2947 North Druid Hills Road Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia. Doors open at 7 o'clock. Go check it out. Fantastic independent wrestling at its finest. Check them out.
And, we've talked to some of the gentlemen on there. The Bullets, I believe, are on that roster. I mean, just a ton of guys who a lot of people in the Southeast know. Naja, of course, will be on there. Chip Day, Vandal, friend of mine. The Revelation Shane Marks, friend of the shows. This is just one Brian Blaze. Everybody knows Brian Blaze and Jeter. And extensions of the Merchants of Death, the Black and Blue guys. They're the Concrete Gorillas. That's all they are. The Concrete Gorillas. They are phenomenal. This is a young, talented roster. So beast up. Big things going for these guys. Once again, the famous pub and sports palace. And that's 2947 North Druid Hills Road, Northeast Atlanta, Georgia, 30329. Doors open at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, or Eastern Standard Time, I'm sorry. Tickets are $10. Children under 12 are $6. So make sure you go out. If you're not going to be at the Oak Mountain Amphitheater for that, because I'm telling you guys right now, it's going to be a hell of a night. And then Saturday night, GCW. Let me tell you guys this. Rick Steiner against Johnny Swinger. The only man big enough to knock the Unlucky Charms off the new poster. As everybody knows, I gave Mad Dog shit about. But you take it. And then a dog collar match. Mad Dog Dan Sawyer against Micah Taylor for the GCW heavyweight title in a dog collar match. So not only do you have Dogface Gremlin against Swinger, which we would talk about, because Swinger doesn't really like to get the shit beat out of him. He's one of those finesse guys. Rick Steiner only knows one way, and that's forward. And it's simple. Now, Heidi Lovelace against Tracy Taylor. A lot of people don't know, are not familiar with Heidi's work. This is going to be a wrestling match. This is not going to be a fight. This is not going to be a brawl. This is going to be a wrestling match. It's going to be nothing but finesse. So make sure you go out. Pell City this Saturday. Progression Pro Wrestling Friday night, or GCW Friday night. What have you. But, guys, what do you think about this? What have you guys ever been to an outdoor event? Corey, I know you have. You've never been to an outdoor event?
Of course I wouldn't have been to an outdoor event. It pisses down rain every 5 minutes over here. You know that.
Well, I've heard, but, once again, I don't take anything, especially working with you the last 2.5 years. Dude, every misconception I ever had of England is out the window. Dude, we broadcast live in the middle of the London bombings, okay? We could hear London burning, literally burning, and that's not a Clash song. It is, London burning, but still, we heard it in the background. So every misconception, the fish and chips, all this shit, I don't believe any of that, okay?
Wow, has it been 2.5 years already? Jesus.
Why would fish eat chips?
Fish and chips. Fish and chips. God almighty with you. But, Corey, you've been at a lot of outdoor events. You've sat out in the sun when it was 100 degrees. You've sat out in the rain. You've been there when it's been pretty freaking cold. Too cold to be out in an outdoor event. What do you feel as a fan going to an outdoor event? Because I have, as a talent, probably a different take on it, sir.
It's fun if you've never been. It's just another parallel of pro wrestling. It's nice to see somebody get thrown out of the ring and get their face smashed into that blacktop pavement, especially when it's 110 degrees. Hell, last year, Solid Cross and Big Jeter had a match out in Porterdale, Georgia, in about 110 degree weather, and grape soda was spilling everywhere. It was a great match. It was fun. It was just another parallel of pro wrestling.
Okay, now here's my thoughts on an outdoor event as somebody who has been part of several who actually wrestled in an outdoor event. It's one of those things to where you're sitting in a tent somewhere because you don't have your usual changing rooms. You don't have anything like that. I have been in events where you've changed on a bus. Great Championship Wrestling out of Phoenix City used to have a huge bus, and whenever they do outdoor events, we could change there. Also, when they lost their bus, when they sold their bus, really, we had to change in between 3 buildings, and it was so bad, the wind was so bad, that it about killed us. That was Joey Kidman's first match ever, too, by the way. So kudos to him because it was out there, and he was smart enough because his mom got him a big coat, a big furry hat, and some gloves and some hot mittens. So Chad Barnhill, a.k.a. Omega/Holocaust, stole them from him, said, "You don't need this, you're a greenhorn." So a very veteran thing of Chad. So you guys would have loved it. But it gets cold. It can get extremely hot. And once you hit that mat, let me tell you guys something. We'll talk to Crew Jones about this. When you hit the mat, it sizzles. I've seen guys hit the mat and stick. So Crew Jones and Sean Banks of Hot Like Lava tag teaming with Murder One and Ryan Bishop with myself in their corner against a few guys outside of a pizzeria in Douglasville, Georgia. It rained before the event, so the mat was completely slick. Slick is horseshit, as we say. But then the sun came out. Here comes the sun, da-na-na-na. And then it was 450 degrees. It was so freaking hot that was the first time I ever saw every match after us where nobody bumped. Like, literally, people were hitting the mat and were just taking, like, the worst bumps. And we've all seen people take those bumps where you're just like, man, just bump. Yeah, it's one of those things. So the Georgia State Fair, guys, they're expecting 5,000 people for this. So if this works out right, and it is right at the beginning of the entrance to the State Fair, this is going to be one of those things, I'm telling you, there's 2 showings at 7 p.m. and at 9 p.m. I'm sure the Unlucky Charms will be at the 9 p.m. because, they like to bring us out when all the drunkards come out, which I don't blame them. So we will be there the entire night. And Cody O'Connor, in High Definition, you guys know, I like Jeremy Foster. It's just business. We can't go out there and like idiots in front of these people, these drunk retards, these sheeple. So if you can make it out to Oak Mountain Amphitheater, please do. If you can make it out to anywhere, support local independent wrestling. Support MLW. Support those customs matches. That's how the women get paid. You can make more in one day of customs than you can your entire year wrestling. That's a shoot. That's the sad part of women's wrestling, but it happens. So, as I said, we're scheduled to be joined by Tony Kazina later on, maybe after this break. We will see. This is live radio, and you never know, especially with the Eastern time zones and Central time zones. We saw this with De La Vega. Got mixed up, called in really late, and it happens. It's live radio. What do you expect? This is not a podcast. Corey, anything you would like to talk about Raw before we hit this break, sir? Since you watched it more than any of us.
I enjoyed it. It's always funny to me when I watch Raw and barely tweet about it. I enjoy it when I don't pay attention to Twitter. Now, I tweeted a few things, tweeted my thoughts, got some feedback, but I enjoyed Raw. I like seeing William Regal versus Fandango. I like seeing Chris Jericho come out there and whip Fandango's ass. I like seeing Dolph Ziggler. I enjoyed it, and it's a weird parallel how, again, I could tweet, sit and get feedback, and then watch it some weeks where I'm not tweeting and I like it even better. I don't know. People are weird. People are assholes. Hell, maybe I'm the asshole. I know I'm an asshole. I know you'll agree. I know Matt Denton will agree. Hell, if Heather at iHeart Wrestling's listening, she'll agree.
Yes, we all agree you are an asshole.
And a very big one on top of that. Does that make you a huge brown eye? Can we call you brown eye? Brown eye rage.
Isn't that what he gets after he eats a taco?
That's too far. Too far.
There is no line I will not cross.
And I understand that. But really quickly, also, next week, we're scheduled to be joined by Jonathan Williams of Georgia Wrestling Now. He is helping, of course, as always, put together Monstrosity Championship Wrestling. Their next event is Friday, May 3rd, Monstrosity Championship Wrestling with Andrew and the Disappearamids. And we're scheduled to be joined. This is a huge, huge night. The guy tore it down a few months ago at MCW, and now he's here. Zombie Rick Rude. We will be using the incantations. I will be probably using my name Enoch, so we can bring in all the angels and all the Necronomicons and all of Solomon's powers we can. But ladies and gentlemen, Zombie Rick Rude, we're bringing him back from the dead. He will be at MCW. And, of course, MCW is at the famous pub, 2947 North Druid Hills Road, Northeast Atlanta, Georgia, the same place that you can go check out Progression Pro Wrestling. So that is a stacked show as always, and possibly the Washington Bullets, yes, of Saw fame, of PCW fame, of Progression Pro Wrestling soon-to-be fame. You know these guys. Corey mentioned them earlier, John and Trey Williams, the Washington Bullets. Those that remember us from Shoot Finish, they will know these guys. They are finishing each other's sentences, and we will ask them about tag team wrestling. They are one of the most decorated tag teams in the Southeast today. We'll ask them about their career, how it all got started. Same thing we're going to ask Tony Kazina. For those that don't remember John and Trey, we're going old school. We're going to start them, ask them how they began. And tonight, for those that want to know and have any questions, comments, or concerns for Tony Kazina or anybody else tonight, Matt, if you will, give that number, please, sir.
It is tonight, and for tonight only, because Eddie's not here. It's 702-605-0249, going back to the old school TNT radio number.
Oh, my goodness. That's old school.
Old school, and it's coming up on the year anniversary of splitting away from Hell on Earth to form TNT Radio.
Yeah, the actual moment that happened is up on YouTube. The To Be Debacled show is what that is listed as.
We're actually a month away from the anniversary of that show.
Almost exactly, I do believe. Fast Eddie Lane is listening right now from the Oak Mountain Amphitheater, Oak Mountain State Park, doing karaoke. And he tells me that the liquor stand is right beside his stage. Eddie knows how to do it. Full range entertainment, just bringing it. And Sunday, Beyond Ringside, the To Be Determined show's own Mad Dog Matt Denton will be co-hosting with me. So we'll let everybody know, even though we do use mature language here, we will not be using it there. Ted Guinness.
Well, you won't be using it there.
Whoa.
Eddie's going to be tearing his hair out as he hears me just completely ruin the Hell Damn Ass rule. Throw that shit out the window.
For those that don't know, Hell Damn Ass,
how many times, what's the over and under on how many times Matt will use the word cunt Sunday night? I'm going to say he's going to use it 7 times. Now, I won't be there, but I'll be listening.
I won't use it any times just to spite you.
Ah, you son of a bitch.
I heard a podcast today, Hollywood Babylon was talking about some of their older Secret Origins Part 2, as it was called, on smodcast.com. And they were talking about how they're like, why is everybody so cool, so much cooler than us from England? And I swear to God, the exact response from Ralph Garman was this. It's because they can add cunt in anywhere and make it sound cool. And that's our own Mad Dog Matt Denton. But ladies and gentlemen, we're about to take our first break of the evening. Hopefully, if everything works out, we'll be joined by NWA Wrestling's own Tony Kazina. If not, we'll just continue on. We will be joined by Hot Like Lava's Crew Jones. You guys know the ever controversial, man. If you want to talk about somebody and get somebody riled up, Crew Jones is that man. Don't change the URL. Thank you for everyone listening. This is the To Be Determined show, #Wrestling Wednesday, right here, Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wrestling Wednesday once again, the To Be Determined show right here. We had a nice little conversation off air while we were waiting for Tony to give us a call. And I want to ask that question again, Corey, if you will, about Mark Henry, what you asked me.
Hell, I don't even. Oh, do you think Mark Henry will retire in the next couple of years, being that for being his size, being that I wouldn't say injury prone. He's had some injuries in the recent years, knees, shoulders, like that.
Because he's able to rehab so quick. The fact that he uses his strength and he is a great bodybuilder and knows how to stay away from injury pretty much, except for like freak things here and there. I say he's going to go for at least another 8 or 9 years, just at least. Matt, what do you think?
I think he will retire pretty soonish. If he has, especially if he has another knee injury in the next maybe 6 months or so, I think he's going to be like, well, shit. And it's gonna be a massive shame as well, because over the past couple of years he's really come into his own. Obviously, with the whole Hall of Pain angle in the middle of last year, and being able to win the world title and stuff. And no, actually, it wasn't last year; it was the year before. But yeah, he really came into his own with that angle and won the World Heavyweight Championship, which I don't think anybody would have seen happening any time in Mark Henry's career, bar none. But I do think if he gets another injury in the next 6 months or so, he'll be like, no, I don't think I continue working the way that I have done, and hang up the boots.
Well, okay, we're talking about guys with injuries. I was sitting watching Classics on Demand yesterday, and was watching Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was 22 years old, and just came back from his first knee injury. Rey has got 2 bad knees. He's been injury prone. He's missed the last 3 WrestleManias. He's had about 35 or 36 knee surgeries between both knees. How long could that guy go?
Not that much longer. His knees are just as bad as Great Khali's right now. And Great Khali's knees are made out of wallpaper paste.
Well, that's the thing, though, is think about what they use. Think about what their arsenal consists of. Rey Mysterio used to be a high flyer. He's trying to change, but God, he's so fucking big, man. Fucking steroids got him so huge. I mean, there's no, every time something comes out, he's getting busted. He's in trouble. His name was on every steroid thing. So I mean, we're not hiding the fact that he was on steroids really bad at one time. That's what happened to his knees. He was so big. Forget the fact that he was killing himself in the ring. He was killing himself. He was breaking his knees down. And when you're a high flyer, when you're a small guy, when your knees go and your back goes, that's it. I think personally he doesn't have much. I've enjoyed Rey. I've enjoyed Rey's work since I knew about him from ECW. But the first time I got to see his work was WCW, and I've always been a fan of his and Eddie Guerrero's. My son's favorite wrestler besides Goldust. But I mean, his whole arsenal has been taken away from him due to the specific injuries he has, and he doesn't heal very well, as we all know. But that's just one example of somebody. I mean, we've all seen people come back from injuries and do well, and then we've seen some that have come back that have never been the same.
You know what? Just quickly thinking about that, maybe WWE, to preserve Mark Henry's career span, should take away the World's Strongest Slam, because Mark Henry's had history of knee injuries. And what's his finisher? Drop into his knees every time. Yeah.
But people think that, we don't want to break kayfabe. Mark Henry is injured in every time he does the World's Strongest Slam as much as he does the guy. I think somebody like Ryback, who has a move where he lays back, is a lot better for him. But I mean, it's just injuries are going to happen. The injuries are going to happen. But I just feel that with somebody like Mark Henry, he can be durable when used correctly. I mean, he's not Khali and he's not Rey Mysterio, so no man to be that big.
So what is the WWE if they lose a guy like Rey Mysterio? Rey Mysterio is a big star. I don't care what you say, whether you love the guy, hate the guy. The guy sells a lot of merchandise. He puts a lot of asses in the seats. Mark Henry, he's a big guy. People pay to see him. Would you say he's a draw? Wicked?
Ray?
No, Rey Mysterio. Yeah, well, obviously Rey Mysterio and Mark Henry.
Mark Henry. Mark Henry can be a draw. I feel like he's right there with the likes of Jack Swagger. They're just waiting just to be pushed through to the top. They're just right there.
But
they just need somebody, and I know. But I know that Henry's been there for some time, but still.
Right. I mean, they signed him to a 10-year, $10 million contract back in 1996 after the Atlanta Olympic Games, and he pretty much that whole time he was sexual chocolate, and he had sex with Mae Young
and his sister.
And his sister. Oh, and a transvestite. And Sammy, yes. That was, yes. So, now we fast forward, 15 years later, almost 20 years later, and where's the WWE at? WWE is at the end of the line with Mark Henry. Let's say he's gone in 2 years. Big Show's gone in 2 years. Khali's gone in 6 months. Rey Mysterio's gone. John Cena gets a career-ending injury. Who do they have? Who do they have?
We'll talk about this already.
Who do they have to pick the slack up? There's nobody there. No, we talked about this. We talked about this 2 weeks ago on the off-air edition of the To Be Determined show. But let's bring it to the forefront. While we're waiting for Tony Kazita to call in, who do they have? Who could step up and be the money man? I'm not a big fan of John Cena, of his character.
Odds Punk.
CM Punk said he's going to retire in 2 years. In 5 years, who's the go-to guy? CM Punk.
Whoa. Did he actually say that?
He said it in an interview that he's pretty much saved his money, and he doesn't want to be a 50-year-old guy wrestling.
No, I believe his actual quote was, if I was to tell my fans the actual date that I'm planning to retire, they would be upset. He didn't specify any time period.
So let's say it's 2 years, okay? I'm going to speculate, because it's what I do. It's 2 years from now. One would assume that he's made a ton of beans, saved his money. The guy's out right now with ACL injury in his knee, ligaments. It's a rough sport. He's gone in 2 years. Okay, Rock is 40 years old. Rock can't keep coming back. Cena's 30s. He just turned 36. He can't go forever.
Why are you bringing Rock into this? As soon as his contract's up, or whatever's left of his contract anyway, he's fucking off back to Hollywood. And good riddance to him.
But he's one of those go-to guys that makes money for the company. So we're talking about guys who can make money for the company. Who do they have? Are Ambrose and Rollins, are those the guys, the faces of the WWE? Hell, I haven't seen the Miz on Raw. I haven't seen the Miz on Raw.
Pipe down, Smarky. Pipe down. Don't give yourself a heart attack now. Come on.
It would have to be somebody like Ziggler. It'd have to be like somebody. Ziggler, it comes to mind if you're taking off Punk right from the beginning. You have guys out there. You have Ziggler. You have Sando. You have Kofi. Kofi, when used right, can fucking make you. He could be a great intercontinental champion. Cody Rhodes is getting ready for that. They have great young talent. The problem is they haven't pushed them till now.
But most of the people that you've brought up are mid-card talents.
Yeah, I mean, Kofi has dwindled in the mid-card for the past 5 years. I mean, after his incident with Randy Orton at Madison Square Garden, what has Kofi done? He's won the IC title, the Intercontinental title. Those titles don't mean anything. Cesaro had that title from last June or July, and bam, he loses it. He loses it on a Monday Night Raw.
Here's the thing about Cesaro, though. Apparently, Vince McMahon's just been like, what's new? And you can see evidence of that on this week's edition of SmackDown. And I know people don't like spoilers, but fuck it, I'm going to spoil it for you. If you don't like it, just plug your ears for at least 3 seconds. But he does the job to Zack fucking Ryder. Zack Ryder of all people. And all of that stuff, impressive stuff that Cesaro has done over the past few months, including and not limited to lifting up the Great Khali for his neutralizer finish, out the window. For what? For Zack fucking Ryder.
I think that's because Zack Ryder is over in the European nations.
So is William Regal. He did the job to Fandango on Raw.
Yeah, but Zack Ryder
but you
is
usually lose in your hometown.
Zack Ryder is over here with somebody in the U.S. You know, the guy's got talent. You know, I think his character is overrated. It's stale. It's boring. He hinted to a heel turn on his show. They brought it back, but I mean, it's 2 years too late.
Yeah, but WWE were never going to do anything with Zack Ryder's self-made push because of the nature of the push.
Right. Well, okay. What about a guy like Kurt Hawkins? Put Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder together. Those guys had a great tag team chemistry. You know, they talk about wanting to revitalize the tag team division. I wouldn't mind seeing those guys together. I like watching Kurt Hawkins wrestle.
Yeah, so do I, but they tried that on Superstars a few years back and then decided, well, Zack Ryder's being best off used as a jobber and Kurt Hawkins best off used not at all. Which is disappointing for me.
Then let the guy go.
I always thought that Zack Ryder was the Jannetty and Kurt Hawkins would be the Shawn Michaels, but
I agree with you.
They're both the fucking Jannetty right now.
Then why do they keep them? You know, if they're dead weight, why keep them on the payroll? And I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Now, don't send me nasty tweets at Smarkrage, all caps, saying, "Oh, why do you want so and so fired?" You know, if you're not going to use a guy, if you got a guy like Wicked Nemesis on the payroll, who is a fantastic manager, and I've seen him elevate people to heights that nobody has seen. If you got a guy like Wicked Nemesis on the payroll and you're not using him, why keep him around?
Here's the thing about WWE. It seems like they keep all the kind of, you know, the smaller talents on payroll. So, A, they don't go to TNA, and B, it's less of an expense anyway because they don't get paid that much.
Yeah, but you know...
And for Zack Ryder, just to quickly add to Zack Ryder, he's still bringing in merchandise sales from the headbands, the sunglasses, the T-shirts.
Okay, well, let's put Zack Ryder aside. Talking about a guy like Kurt Hawkins.
Okay,
Kurt Hawkins doesn't have any merchandise. You know, and again, no disrespect to Kurt Hawkins or to the wrestling business, but would Kurt Hawkins be that big of a loss if he went to TNA? Hell, WWE doesn't sweat TNA.
Why should he go to TNA? Let me ask you that. What can he bring to TNA that TNA doesn't already have?
What can he bring to WWE that WWE doesn't already have?
Nothing. He needs to go to Ring of Honor, someplace like that where he can help the guys out. There's some guys that's their mission in lives, guys. I mean, I hate to say it. Their whole mission in lives is to get the next generation ready for there to be a business. That's just how it is.
You've got somebody like Sarah Del Rey, who is probably one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. No disrespect to Calm Like a Bomb Pandora. You've got her down and Tasha Simone, excuse me. No disrespect to Tasha. You know I love you. I'm still waiting on that sandwich. But you've got her down at NXT training the next generation.
No. Sarah Del Rey signed that contract knowing how she'd be used. It's not like they said, oh, we don't know what to do with you. You're just going to stick in NXT and train people. Sarah Del Rey wants to train people.
So you're telling me that she had no aspirations to get on TV.
Maybe she did, but she's now preferring the fact that she's going to be training the next batch of talent to go up to TV, even if the next batch of women's talent, anyway, are going to be wasted in 3-minute matches.
Now, Wicked Nemesis, stop me if I'm wrong. The idea to be in pro wrestling is to, number one, have good matches, right? And to make money.
Depends on who you talk to. Depends on who you talk to, sir.
Why would she want to? And again, this is just my opinion. Why would she want to be in Florida making $75 a year? Let's just use that number. Making $75,000 a year, and I don't know that's what she's make. I'm just using it. That's the first number.
That's the worst fucking random number
Corey.
pulled out your ass since fucking one newspaper article that said that Ireland was giving £18 to the UN World Food Fund. Jesus.
Let me tell you guys this. This is what it is. Sarah Del Rey paid her dues. She has been up and down. There comes a point in time where you're tired of getting your ass whooped. You're tired of broken bones, and it is hard for me to get out of bed. I can only imagine some of these people like Damon Christopher, somebody like Pandora, somebody like Shane Mark's been in the business 15, 20 years. Okay? Let me tell you guys this. 4 words, one name. Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker was a damn near nobody on WCW, a jobber. But
hey, I remember him. He was the first leprechaun in professional wrestling.
Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker got so many guys ready out of power plant. It's unbelievable. And you talk to more guys, there's more respect for Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker than there are for most guys that have done decades in this business. You talk to the guys that come out of WCW, every single one of them will tell you there's one person we can, Sergeant Buddy Parker. He got everybody ready. There will be a time, I promise you, and you promise this, 5, 6 years from now, people are back and like, Sarah Del Rey got an entire generation of women wrestlers ready.
I just find it hard to believe that some, and I can understand not wanting to, your body's broken up and all that good stuff. But I just kind of find that hard to believe as a business person in real life that she would want to make X amount of dollars training people versus making, more money than she may have ever made in her entire wrestling career 1 year with the WWE.
Okay, if you're talking about money, I'm going to talk about legacy. What would she prefer her legacy to be? From wrestling shitty 3-minute matches on TV, or being known as the woman who trained the rest of the NXT women's roster to put on possible matches on TV and be renowned for that?
But you said possible matches. There's a possibility I may wake up tomorrow and get hit by a fucking bus.
No, he said passable. Passable.
Passable. Excuse me, he's got an accent. I don't understand his accent. I beg your pardon.
He's saying passable.
Take the sandwich out your ears.
Look at Caitlyn. Look at Caitlyn. Everybody, look at how far Caitlyn's come. She has progressed. After Eve, a lot of people were like,
But who trained Caitlyn? It wasn't Sarah Del Rey, and if it was, I beg your pardon. Wasn't it Fit Finlay, Goldust, Fit Finlay, Goldust, and them had a hand in training people?
Yeah. All right, but don't forget, Caitlyn's still learning. She's still going down to NXT every so often to learn from people.
Right,
whether it be Fit, whether it be from Goldust, whether it be from Sarah Del Rey.
Right, but you don't see, how many women on the current WWE roster who was on TV, with the exception of Caitlyn, go down to NXT every week and want to get better.
We don't know that. I can't tell you because I'm not there with them. The sacrifice that we make in the business, unless you're in the business, unless you're there, you really can't talk about the sacrifice. Or does she go down there? Do all the girls go down there? We don't know that. I can tell you by the matches that I see on TV that the women are getting better. That's actually viewable and that's all you can do. You can't talk about somebody's heart and somebody's desire till you see their ring work. Look at Spike Dudley. Got his ass just thrown around, boom, 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 sold merchandise, and has respect. That's really what it's about, is respect. There's people out there that made a lot of money in this business but have no respect. And those are the ones
Kelly
that would give up. I promise you, they would give up all the money they had to get some of the respect that some of the people that didn't make the money they did have. I promise you that. As a human being, as somebody with an ego as I do, I promise you that. We got in this business because we have an ego problem. It's plain and simple. I wanted to be considered a god. I didn't give a fuck about the money. All I wanted to do is when I saw Andre the Giant with Bobby the Brain Heenan, and I saw the control that Bobby had over Andre and how he made Andre go completely heel and just put Hogan in his place. I hated Hogan. Hated Hogan. I was a huge Jimmy Superfly Snuka fan growing up. Moments like that. There's moments as wrestlers, as managers, as valets, as referees where you're like, that's what I want to do. That was my moment. Seeing Andre rip Hogan's cross off and Bobby Heenan sitting there and you did this. It's an ego thing, plain and simple. I wanted people to look up at me as I was in the ring, and I wanted to tell everybody how stupid they were and get paid to do it. And I get to do that. But Sarah Del Rey, I promise you this, go and look at all the women's matches that have happened the last few months. We all learn. The moment you stop learning is the moment you need to get out of the business. Plain and simple. It's that simple.
Just a quick note on gauging how many women go down to FCW or NXT to learn stuff. We can moderately gauge that by how many of the divas that are currently on the WWE roster actually show up on the NXT TV show. Because you don't expect them just to go down to do TV and then fly back over to do the house show loop. They're there to learn as well as to be on TV and to give the NXT superstars or divas a rub.
It's about paying your dues.
Shit, I wish one of those divas would give me a rub.
Get your mind out the gutter.
My God. Oh my God. That's gonna get you killed. I'm telling you, it's gonna get you killed. That's gonna get you killed. But these guys and these girls that pay their dues, that go to OVW when they had opportunity, and it's always nice to see the guys that are released from WWE to go off and do something and then come back because they went out and that's what's territories. I'm telling you guys, if there were territories still, you wouldn't have this problem. People would be ready for TV. That's the difference between what used to be and what is today in wrestling. It's territories. You would have somebody like Rob Terry. You would have somebody like Mark Henry. You would have somebody like Khali go to different territories, and you would trade them. You would say, okay, well, I'm going to send Khali over to TNA for the Dudleys. Khali could make TNA a lot of money. If we still had that mentality, there's some people out there. Global Championship Wrestling has a great business and great sharing of talent with Rampage Wrestling. Damn near everybody goes back and forth to that. But the thing is paying your dues. Do you want to make that drive? Because for a lot of us, it's 4.5 hours one way. Do you want to make that drive? It's all about paying dues, plain and simple, guys. These guys used to make a living off this. I wish I could make a living off wrestling. I make damn good money off wrestling, but I wish that I could. You can't not do that anymore. There's not enough talent out there. There's not enough people willing to book. Nobody's willing to pay. Corey, you know this. There's some promoters out there that are happy to not pay guys, and there's some out there that pay damn good and get great matches. So I know what you want to about Mad Dog Van Sawyer. He fucking pays his people, and he pays damn good.
I know nothing of the sort about wrestling.
You should have stopped that sentence at I know nothing.
I know nothing. You talk about paying dues and going up and down the road, and I believe you and I have talked about this off air and the To Be Determined show. After the bell about guys paying dues. You see guys that think that they don't have to pay dues, and that happens here in Georgia. You know that. You know the people I know. You see guys that just think, okay, well, here I am, and you should put the title on me, and all that, and all that, and all that.
Oh yeah, we know that. You want to call them up by name because we will. We're about to take our next break of the evening.
See,
before I bury half of everybody's roster, they can say whatever they want to about me. They know everybody oh, it's all about Wicked. It's all about Wicked. It's not about the charm. It's not about on Pandora. No.
I will say this.
Let me tell you.
I will say this. Stop. I will say this before we take a break. If you're in her locker room, you better shake Wicked Nemesis' hand. That's all I'm saying.
God, yes.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I didn't see it. I'm not saying like Shane Helm says. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because people run to you and tell you. But we're taking our break. When we come back, the To Be Determined show right here, Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Ladies and see, I messed that one up from the very beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Ninja's Corner. Yeah, I'm just playing. It's this britches zipper right here, the To Be Determined show. I'm the Orc of Ominous, the architect of intellect, the Wicked Nemesis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, Mad Dog Matt Denton. Matt?
I'm glad to be here in Ninja's Corner.
Yay, turn around, put your nose in the corner. Smarkrage. Corey, Smart, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Let's keep it flowing.
And we have her on the line, former NWA Women's World Champion, 3-time, third longest reigning champion of all time, the one, the only, Renadel pile driver, Tasha Simone. Sis, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing lovely, but I'm just like baby. Don't nobody put Tasha in any corner. Don't back me up in one. Don't sit me in one, and I'm damn sure not sticking my nose in one. 3 billion people pissed off, and a whole bunch more to go tonight. I hope everybody's doing great.
And ladies and gentlemen, the Southern icon. This man has taken over Bollywood. He's taken over Hollywood. He is the Georgia sensation. The maid's quiver, the pop's shiver, I think would be a good one. The one, the only, hot like lava's Crew Jones. Crew, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm glad to be here. I'm hearing all this talk about ninjas. You know, I am the sexy ninja. There is no corner. It's just all round and around me. It's one giant circle, and you can't find me because I'm a sexy ninja, but I creep up in you.
That was quick. You see that? You see how this man flows just right off the bat, just flowing and rhyming. Crew, now you're a very serious man, but we wanted to ask you something. As someone who has had his share of injuries, how do you feel about the guys that have taken years off their careers by putting themselves in positions and doing moves, et cetera, that just take a toll on the body, sir?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do, you know, you just got to be smart about it. You know, as of right now, I'm hurt. Not because anything happened in the ring, because a damn bus hit me. I got bulging disc in my neck, and it ends up I have a cracked vertebrae, which they didn't catch until 2 months after the fact. They go, "Oh yeah, you had a cracked vertebrae." Well, duh, shit. I was going to use that for a while back, but things go right. You know, I'll be back by the end of the summer, so just give my body a rest. But I mean, all these guys that flip flop and fly and can't even work a fucking reverse hammerlock, you know. They ain't doing no damn good. If I ever get in the ring with them, I'll shut them down, so it don't really matter to me.
So I think we all have the same question after hearing you were hit by a bus. How's the bus?
Nah, fucking total. Are you kidding me? But I will that bus one thing. That damn bus had more charisma than half these fat asses on the damn Georgia indie scene around here.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get in so much trouble, dude.
Why? You know what? As the wrestling fan of the show that watches the Georgia local indie scene, I agree with Crew Jones 100%. Now, Crew Jones. Come on! I'm waiting for Crew to call me a fat ass.
I'm waiting on you to finish a damn sentence. You started out with a statement, but you know you didn't finish it. So you agree with me? You got a name? You want to put somebody on blast? I'll give my opinion. I'm not scared of anybody around here.
No, I'm just gonna play it safe and agree with you.
Oh yeah, I mean the thing. Go ahead.
Matt was about to get into Corey. Say what you're about to say, Matt.
I'm just calling him a pussy. I'm gonna play it safe and just agree with you. Pussy.
And that's Southern English. That's Southern English, by the way. Crew, you have been training. You've been getting a next generation of wrestlers ready, sir. How is this affecting your training, sir? This injury.
I can't. Well, the thing that annoys me before I got hurt, when I started taking over training for NWA Atlanta, the only way I would train is to get in there and pretty much teach. I wouldn't teach anybody anything until I taught them like 5 or 6 shoot moves, because I wrestled, from age 10 all the way up to college. So, rule number 1, you got to really know how to do it before you can fake it. And that's the problem with all these jabronis out here on the fucking indie scene. Like, I want to be a wrestler. I want to do this flip, flop, and fly. I go, what happens when somebody does something you don't want to do and they have me punch your fucking ribs out, with a damn real field goal kick while you're on all fours? You can't even defend yourself. Well, how do you do it? Nobody knows how to do that, because everybody gets caught up in their damn character, and they think, hey, my wrestling character is, who I really am. In reality, they couldn't beat the way out of a damn wet paper bag with a damn hole in it. So I would get in there. The thing is, since I got hurt, legally I can't get in there and do anything, because obviously there's a lawsuit and blah, 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 so I have to do it from the side. Pretty much I have 3 guys that are still with me, and I think I've had 25 people quit. And it's amazing. People want to be wrestlers, and they get in there and they can't make it through a 3-minute drill without puking, and they quit. Or they don't understand why they're not getting a spot on the show when they take 3 bumps and their ribs hurt and they don't train for 3 weeks. And then I'm like, no, you're not going to be out in front of the crowd. You're not going to do anything. They get the feelings hurt and they quit. That's reality. But, if it takes me being an asshole and weeding out the pieces of shit, so be it. They're not going to be able to show that, I'm going to help put my name or stamp approval on, and they sure as hell ain't going to get my stamp approval of me training them. I'd rather just quit and go do something else besides, try to wrestle, because it's a disgrace. And I see some of these shit shows, and these guys are fucking horrible, and that's what I tell them. I was like, if you want to be a part of some shit-ass show where everybody sucks, and the majority of people on the show are an embarrassment to the art of pro wrestling, then feel free. But, I'm not going to let you bring down the show I'm involved with, tank it down and, make it what little reputation it has worse. And it shows how I ain't going to bring my rep down if my name's associated with it. So the way I look at it, hurts people's feelings, but, it's got to be done.
Now, you talk about protecting the art, and we've always talked about this. Tasha, you and I both have stressed this so much. An art form, protecting the art form of professional wrestling. Now, you've had the privilege of seeing some very young talent, some very green talent, some guys that have paid their dues. Is there somebody right now that you see, somebody maybe that you have a hand in the training, maybe somebody that's not, that you see is ready, somebody that is just hungry for it, Crew?
The guy that I've seen around here, he's a legit shooter. He wrestled all the way up through college to Gardner Webb up North Carolina. Fred Yehi.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a lot of potential. If he could just get the mics down and the entertainment side down, the sky's the roof. As far as talented, he's come farther than a year and a half and 2 years than a lot of guys around here that say they've done it for 10 years. He's that good. And he made the transition because he knows how to really wrestle. He can really shoot any move. When he's in there, he's holding back, trying not to hurt guys. And the one thing that's holding him back is cutting promos and getting the charisma to come back. And, he has to find that notch to connect with the crowd. Once he does that, I think, he can easily make it a, more a work rate type place like a Ring of Honor. He's got a lot of talent. One of the guys I'm training, he's the exact opposite. He has a real good look. His name's Aaron Fry Daddy. and connects with the crowd, has a ton of charisma. He just, he doesn't have the shooter background, but as far as picking up the art of it, he's coming along good. He's got a lot of potential. He just has to get, more of the work rate down. As far as cutting promos, talking, and having the look, he looks like $1 million. He's close there too. So, kind of a yin and yang. One can work and not talk, and the other one can talk real good and has to pick up on the work.
But you can work with that, is what you're saying, though. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you have, there's pretty much to make it in professional wrestling, you got to have a good look. You got to be able to work, and you got to have a ton of charisma. And obviously, the fourth one, you got to have a lot. It's almost a combo on the fourth one. You got to have a lot of luck and have the right person in the right spot pulling for you to get a contract. That last one, you really can't control it. The other three, you at least need two, and you can work on the third one. I've seen guys that have a ton of charisma, can work their ass off, but they really don't have the look. They might be like a Samoa Joe or a Kevin Steen, where they're an overweight fat guy, but hell, they move like a cruiserweight. So the fact that they can wrestle their butt off, they have a lot of charisma, makes up for the lack of a $1 million body or whatnot. Same thing with, the guy might be small, but he can work his butt off, he's cut up, and his charisma and his work rate make up for his lack of weight. Same thing. Fred is the same way. Fred has unreal look, can work his ass off. He just really can't cut the promo that good right now. But you can work with that if you have 2 out of 3. And then, as you know, you can have all 3, but if you don't have the right person at the right spot and a lot of luck, and you just happen to be there and them pulling for you to get signed, that's the key right there.
Now, as someone who made the successful jump from another sport to professional wrestling, do you see that it's kind of a hard jump, because we've only had a handful of guys really make that transition of wrestling in college and in high school to actually making money? Kurt Angle being one that comes to mind. Dr. Death, Steve Williams, a little bit. Brock Lesnar, kind of. But a lot of the old school guys, do you feel that generation has gone, or do you feel that you can still get something out of those guys?
Unlike 20 years ago, MMA is a lot more popular. So a lot of guys that are real good wrestlers are doing the MMA because, they still want the competition part of it. And it's a more natural transition. And, if you don't have the charisma, and of course, MMA is a natural fit, anybody that has charisma that can sell a fight good will make money there. Chael Sonnen's tailor-made for it. He cuts better promos than half the guys. He cuts better promos than 85% of the guys on TV. And that's why he's not the greatest fighter. But he's a decent fighter who can sell the hell out of a fight, and that's why he's getting title shots and selling out pay-per-views. But, 20 years ago, you didn't have the MMA like it is now. So a lot of the real good athletes tend to kind of go that way before they would come to like our professional wrestling.
Also, Chael Sonnen let it be known that he made more money on this fight he had with John, or this fight he's going to have with John Bones, and he made more money than Anderson Silva. So more money than the champions, the challenger. So, it's out there. Great talkers.
He puts asses in seats. Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Now, this Saturday, there's going to be a huge event, NWA Atlanta. Obviously, you're not going to be able to participate due to injury, but you have quite an investment in this. Sir, what the hell is going on with this war game, sir?
All right, pretty much what happened, I was the main guy, pretty much held one of the belts, our main belt, then I got hurt. So because I got hurt, obviously can't wrestle with a damn 3 bolting disc. And then later found out I had a cracked vertebrae in the C6. But so I stepped back, and as you know, quick history lesson, used to wrestle for Rampage, and about 2 months before that happened, back in the Christmas list come out in December, the owner got his feelings hurt, and the guy that's trying to stab the booker in the back is supposedly the promoter. His name rhymes with Ben Masters. He's a fucking slimy piece of shit. Pretty much, y'all too, vulgar, but you can't do that. So me and Sean pretty much, I'm like, fuck off. I don't want to wrestle a show anyway. And as soon as I got hurt, I could sit around and wait around and do nothing. Or the show that, I happen to live near, NW Atlanta, I can non-wrestling time into it, pretty much turn the company around, which I'd already helped turn it around a lot, and a lot of people said that, like, ever since you've been there, people like Rick Michaels, Bobby Hayes, AJ Steele, these guys that have been around, you really helped turn that company around. And I say, you know what? Now I'm not going to sit around and pout. I'm going to really turn it around. So I went to the owners and said, what, let me invest in the company. Let me help you promote. Let me use the resources I got, and I'll make that company, which is NWA, it was NWA Action. Then we got involved, and now we got the rights to NWA Atlanta. So we'll make it one of the top companies within 6 months to a year. And since then, pretty much things have turned around, built storylines up, and this Saturday is our first pretty much super show or quarterly show where all the storylines come to a head, which is War Games in Stockbridge, Georgia. It's 2 cages around 2 rings, so it's really one giant cage. The biggest cage in Georgia. Yes, it's bigger than NWA Anarchy. Yes, it's bigger than Peach State Championship Wrestling, even though they got Shane Knowles and his big 20-gallon head in that one, and Mike Jackson happened to walk up the ropes and, somehow, he walked the cage like the Undertaker or whatever, which if I ever get in a ring again with him, I'm pulling him off of it. If CM Punk can pull Undertaker off the cage, I'm snatching Mike Jackson and his George Hamilton-looking leather carcass off the cage. Pretty much cage match. We're also going to have a 3-way tag. It's a 3-way heavyweight match. AJ's the champion. AJ Steele is taking on Bill the Butcher, who is also taking on Payne. Payne, the 450-pounder that does moonsaults off the top of cages. Bill the Butcher, unpredictable. You have to see him to believe him. You never know what he's going to show up looking like. One time he looked like a mix between an Aborigine and Braveheart. Also have Mike Cannon against his former manager, Kurt Kilgore. Loser has to wear a dress to catch. Cannon has to have one arm back, and it's also a no DQ match. And the inaugural Max Championship, which is the Metro Atlanta Extreme title, is going to be a 4-way gauntlet match. 4 guys start. If you get pinned or submitted, you're out, and another guy comes in, just like the Royal Rumble. We'll have 8 to 12 guys in it. When the last 4 guys are in the ring, it becomes an elimination. Last man standing wins the belt.
Damn, that is it's a hell of a rundown. Bill the Butcher, will he be throwing his chain anytime during this?
True story. The last year, we had a similar War Games show, not as big as this one. Bill the Butcher comes flying out, throws the chain over the cage, unsuspectedly to a couple guys in there, finds the cage and decides to jump in, lands on the guy below him and broke his own nose 1 minute in. So you never know what Bill the Butcher's going to do.
If you recall at Peach State, he ran out, threw his chain, it slid all the way across the ring, flew in the front row and hit like 5 guys, if you recall. And
is that the same
by the way,
Peach
crew,
State?
Yes.
Did I teabag Shane Knowles?
Yes, it was. It was the exact same one. And by the way, you weren't the one that had Mike Jackson walk around the fucking cage with it was my hair he had a hold of. I was begging for somebody to knock
that was before I got in there. He pulled that stunt. That's the same one where I dropped down on my knees and I dared the Ultimo Dragon to kick me, and he still couldn't put off a proper karate kick.
Well, here's what I want you to do.
He's the ultimate dragon who don't know karate.
Here's what I want you to do. Saturday night, after the show, before the show, I want you to get the picture of Action Mike Jackson and Rob Van Dam, and I want you to autograph it. And next time I see you, I want that picture.
Well, if they were on my show, I'd get it for you.
Don't pander to this fat fuck. Come on.
But, I have no idea when Mike Jackson or Rob Van Dam's going to be Saturday. They're not going to be at War Games. I'll tell you that. That's not one of the surprises we have. But we are. Just to top Mike Jackson, we're going to have Rick Michaels selling tickets at Big Lots from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So suck on that, Mike Jackson.
Right beside Mike. I say, hey, man, you got here now before I did. I have to ask you, I have to put you on the spot. Andy Anderson, is he still part of NWA Atlanta?
He is still involved with NWA Atlanta. He's not wrestling, but he is involved.
Okay, I was gonna ask you. I was like, please tell me you got him out of his Stinger '87 gimmick. So.
No, not. He's not wrestling at all. But I have encouraged him to get the Rogaine and come back as 2002 version with a crow outfit.
That's kind of messed up because you just gave the guy an idea, and he's probably going to run with it. But hey, you can always tag with John Bogey and be the time machine. So it could be worse. Crew, when can we expect you back? Have they given you an exact time? I know you said sometime in the summer, but have they given you a time?
I'll get evaluated hopefully this summer, and then I don't know. It's going to be a surprise. I'm probably just going to show up and destroy some guy. Just annihilate some guy, make him quit wrestling, go run into his mama in his trailer. I'm just going to shit on everybody. Or maybe I'll start a blog like Steve Platinum and I point out what's wrong with everybody else's shows. Or maybe I will start a blog and point it out what's wrong with everybody else's blog. Now, there's an idea.
Hey, it could be worse. You could be stuck in a little hole somewhere, having other people do your work for you, as we all know, a lot of people tend to do. But Crew, what do you have upcoming, sir? Do you have any movies in the works, or are you just taking it easy completely, sir?
No, I'm just taking it easy, doing therapy 5 days a week. They say I haven't lifted a weight in 3 months. So all I can do is my therapy, cardio on the treadmill, see a chiropractor 3 times a week, and you should heal, relax, heal, and do stuff behind the scenes with this, and I'll keep doing it as long as I feel, it's warranted. If I feel that I'm spinning my wheel and wasting my time, then I'll let everybody know, and I'll move on to the next thing.
How can everyone get in touch with you, sir, for questions, comments, concerns, bookings, maybe even advice, maybe even some training, sir? How can everyone get in touch with you?
You can still go through hotlightlava.com. We're still pumping the website up. You'll see me on there. You'll see Sean Banks on there. We're posting stuff regularly. You can get bookings to acting. There's bookings, all kind of weird bookings. You name anything from Craigslist off the wall, it's liable to be on hotlightlava.com. We also poke fun at people. We take shots at people. You name it, it's on there. And, anything off the wall that's entertaining, it'll be on there. hotlightlava.com.
And Crew, really quick, for those just now tuning in, the information for this Saturday's show, sir.
The information is April 27th, 7:30 p.m. is the bell time at Stockbridge, Georgia, 533 Old Conyers Road, Stockbridge, Georgia, 30281 for your GPS. If you need tickets, 678-873-4010. That's 678-873-4010. At the Big Lots in Stockbridge, they have half of the tag team champs. That's Rick Michaels. He'll be selling tickets from 10 to 4. You can get a discount ticket there. Or at Sheer Brilliance from 1 to 3, that's a beauty salon. We'll have AJ Steele at a beauty salon. He was a ball-headed guy, by the way. He is the heavyweight champion, and they'll be selling tickets there at a discount price from 1 to 3 also this Saturday.
Crew, we appreciate you coming on, sir. We'll look for big things this Saturday, another great event. Crew Jones, everyone. We're about to take our last break of the evening. When we come back, it's the Take It Home portion of the To Be Determined show right here, Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
fucking kids locked me out.
And
Yes.
Smarkrage fucks it all up.
It fucks
Yes.
it up.
Fucking kids have locked
Corey.
Tasha Simone out. We are back here with sports access. Oh, wait, no. My bad.
The to be determined show right here, Wrestling Wednesday.
No,
Ladies and
get
gentlemen, it's
off
been a
of my
hell
damn
of
purse.
You hear this? Tasha walks in and just starts beating the shit out of everybody as soon as she walks in the house. Tasha, you heard
My pit
Crew
bull's
talk
attacking
about.
me.
I'm sure you heard Crew talk about training. How do you go about training? Do you go the same direction as he did, or as he said he does, ma'am?
I think people need to have the shit beat out of them when they train to become a professional wrestler. If they keep coming back, they want to be wrestlers. It's a call-it-out process. I've said this a million times before, and I'll say it a million times more. We need people to buy tickets. If everybody could be professional wrestlers, we wouldn't have anybody in the seats to watch us.
Well, then let me ask you a question then, Tasha. What makes people think that it's okay to charge a guy $600, train him how to be a pro wrestler, when they're not qualified to be when they're probably not qualified to train the person?
Well, because, see, we have these things called smart marks. And what that really means is they just think they know what the fuck goes on in our ring, when the fact is they don't know a damn thing about my business. The only difference between a mark and a smart mark is a smart mark's read a little bit more on the internet. They don't know what it's like to get in the ring. They don't know what it's like to break their fucking tailbone or get their jaw broke and go wrestle with it. They don't have a clue. And there's always going to be somebody dumb enough that they want to go the fast road instead of going the correct road.
Well, we talked earlier before you come on about Sarah Del Rey as a trainer. How do you feel? Do you feel that, as Corey kind of mentioned that it's kind of disrespectful or maybe even a misuse of her being a trainer in NXT? Or do you feel that, as Matt and I said, that she's training the next generation of WWE divas?
I have a mixed response to that. Do I think she's being misused? Yes. She's a quality wrestler. She is. And she's one of the few that you will hear me say she is female, that she is a wrestler. You know, you don't look at her and say, oh, what a cute little girl. Look at what she did. Look how big her boobs are. Look at her makeup. You don't do that. When you get in the ring, you see her kick the shit out of somebody, and she's done. She does it with class and taste and technique. On the other hand, while she's training and not being on TV, which is a terrible misuse because she is what I would like to see on television defining what a woman wrestler is right now. At the same time, she's not being embarrassed by having to do jobs for these stupid bitches that couldn't lace her boots.
Well, like I said earlier, you know, she knew what she was getting herself into, but wouldn't she want to be on TV making more money than she's making now and say, hey, listen, I got to make, you know, $500,000 being on TV for a year versus making X amount of dollars training girls in Florida? And Wicked and...
She's probably making more money training.
And, you know, they talked about her legacy, what her legacy will go down to.
Well, I think this is what it comes down to. If I were offered a job there and given the option that I want to wrestle on TV or that I want to train pieces of shit that they put on TV, I would not want to be on their programming. It's not professional wrestling. Sarah is a professional wrestler. She's making money. She's getting paid. She's still working her craft. I'm not sure that she can probably still take bookings other places so she can still work the way she wants to work without having to answer to them. but she's still getting paid by them to train the craft that they put in the ring. And hopefully, maybe she'll click with somebody, and at least one of those stupid, skanky cunts will learn how to at least lock up and grab a hammerlock properly.
Do you feel that maybe she would go the route of Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, where she had a hand in so many people's career and actually honing them for TV and making them actual workers? Do you think that she'll have that legacy, and also of people knew her and respected her, but she didn't get as much TV time as a lot of people felt they should?
She could. I don't know. I don't think that they'll ever let her get to that point. They're going to use her. She's going to do her little run with training. They'll be tired of her. She'll probably hurt some girl, and they'll be done with her. And she'll go back to being a great independent wrestler. That's what I think will happen.
No, it possibly could. Well, look, we're all hoping for the best for her. But Tasha, we have to ask you: training. Who puked tonight? Who passed the test tonight?
Me. I puked. I passed the test because I'm the one that was training. Nobody else trained tonight. I was training all by my lonesome. And anybody who does not think that David Kid Cash is an evil, 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 evil bastard as a trainer, they're wrong. But he is a great trainer. He is a phenomenal trainer. And if anybody ever has the opportunity to work with him, whether it's for a professional wrestling seminar that he does or on the MMA level, which is where he prefers to work, you are cheating yourself if you do not take the opportunity to work with the man, even though he's evil. Evil.
He sounds evil, and we want to ask you. We want to ask you too. What do you have upcoming? Are you managing? Are you going to wrestle sometime soon, ma'am?
I will be entering the ring for the first time since my hiatus this Saturday in Blue Ridge, Georgia. I will be facing Miss Tiffany Rock, and I'm going to tell you very bluntly, we will be putting on a clinic of how professional wrestling, not girls wrestling, but how professional wrestling is supposed to be.
And how can everyone get tickets, and what is this promotion, ma'am?
This show, where do you get back? Sorry, I'm fighting with my pit bull over food, guys. I just got done training. I'm starving to death. This show is actually a benefit for Miss Joyce Grable, who is, for people who don't know anything about professional wrestling, she is actually one of the pioneers of ladies wrestling when women were still expected to be workhorses in the ring. She has been diagnosed with leukemia. There is indeed a donor for her. However, like so many of us in this wonderful Obama land that we live in, she has no insurance. So all of the proceeds of this show will be going toward Joyce getting her transplant. It is going to be a who's who of women's professional wrestling through the ages. I do know that they have some men on the card as well. And if Miss Sue Green shows up, there will be, and she's scheduled to be there, but I understand that she may have an injury or something that will prevent her. But if Sue shows up, there will be at least 4 generations of NWA Women's World Champions present this Saturday in Blue Ridge, Georgia. The doors will be opening at, I believe, 5:30. Bell time is 7 o'clock.
And, of course, the youngest generation of that being Tiffany Rocks.
That's correct.
Now, I have to ask you, because I didn't get a chance to ask Crew, an outdoor event. You've been a part of outdoor events. I'll be part of an outdoor event Friday at the Oakmont Amphitheater. I was kind of trying to tell these guys the horror stories of an outdoor event. What is your thoughts on an outdoor event, and what is your favorite outdoor event story?
Oh, I love outdoor cards. My my favorite outdoor story is, well, I've got two, but my absolute favorite is when I was wrestling for Chris Adams. I was the only woman on the card. For the first 2 years I was a professional wrestler, I never touched a woman. For the people who are just tuning in for the first time that hear me being very insultory and derogatory to women's professional wrestling, that's part of the reason why. I'm not a woman wrestler. I'm just a wrestler. That's how I was taught. I wasn't taught there was any difference. But that being said, Chris ended every single card with battle royal. And of course, I was on the card, so I was in battle royal. We were in Winsboro, Texas, on the football field at the high school. And me not thinking, I took a backdrop over the top rope from a guy who I had trained with, and without saying too much about the business, let's just say I forgot he was a 310-pound man and that he was 6'6". I was thinking he was a woman equal to my size. And he forgot that I was a 5'3", 360-pound woman. He thought that I was equal to his size. So I got a lot of hang time before I landed flat on my back on the football field. It was a beautiful bump. Hurt like hell the next day, but it was a beautiful bump. My other favorite outdoor story, we were in Mahia, Texas, also on a football field. And Iceman King Parsons was going to the ring to Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby. And this huge, ginormous beefalo of a woman gets up behind Iceman and starts dancing on him. And I swear to God, this woman was 5 feet tall and 250 pounds. She was as big around as she was tall. And Iceman was actually running from her around the ring to keep her from getting up on him and grinding to his music. And, of course, the rest of us were sitting in the ring laughing about it. We actually sat down laughing. It was so funny. It just happened. But I love outdoor shows. I know a lot of people don't like them. They're hot, they're sticky, they're sweaty. The mosquitoes get you, the flies get you. But I love them.
Well, I hate them because I have a mask and a jacket, a T-shirt, and dress pants, and size 15 Nazi military boots. So it gets very fucking hot for me. So, but I just wanted to ask your opinion because, we were discussing, I was telling them, of course, about a lot of people not wanting to bump. Have you been at an event where it's rained?
Yes.
Oh, God, yes. I hate that. Your thoughts on that?
Texas. San Antonio, Texas. Myself and Lady K, who is Cowboy John Mantel's wife now. She was not at the time. She and her husband at the time and I went to San Antonio, Texas. Girls are main event on Mexican cards. This was not only a Mexican card, it was in what's called the Little Dominican Republic down there. The locker room that we had a voodoo altar in it. True story. True story. Where we were, we could not see the rain. We were doing a rain dance all the way down because we knew if it rained, there would be no show. We wouldn't have to wrestle, and we'd still get paid. I mean, that's just how it goes. At least that's how professional promoters do it. Well, we did our rain dance, and all of the guys' matches were dry. Kay and I were main event, best 2 out of 3 falls, and we had to go as close to the time limit as possible. Now, keeping in mind that we have not seen the ring yet. Kay and I, at that time, I was still growing in height. I was maybe 5'3". Kay was maybe 5'1". We get in the ring, the bottom drops out, And I mean, we could barely see through the rain to walk up. These people aren't going anywhere. They're sitting in the pouring down rain watching us. Of course, the guys have been laughing at us the whole time because they know that the ring is exactly 8 inches off of the ground and braced all the way around. So when you hit it, you might as well be hitting concrete. And the top rope was so high that we could have hit the middle rope to run the ropes. It was over both of our heads. 2 out of 3 falls in the rain in San Antonio, Texas. It was lovely.
And that is the weather report of outdoor events by Tasha Simone. Not many people have been a part of them, so I think outdoor events are very few and far between nowadays. And I just wanted to give the fans a sense of what it was like. I was part of an outdoor event in Americus, Georgia. Fans of the show will know I hate Americus, Georgia. Crew Jones was on that card. Crew Jones, my brother Ron Bishop, tagged against Johnny Slaughter. And I'm wanting to say AJ Steele. And it just starts pouring down rain, and then it gets to the point to where Crew, who is just an entertainer's like, we're not going in. We're going to stay, and we're going to wrestle. And we're going to wrestle for 30 minutes. I think Crew Jones got pinned 27 times. Bishop, they were just doing it where they were just taking front face bumps and getting pinned because there was no sense in it. And as you said, people stood there. The announcer was standing there talking with a microphone. Lightning hits right above it. And instead of calling it, he just turns the microphone off and just sits there with his arms crossed. I'm like, wow, this is professional wrestling. This is professional wrestling right here. Oh, it was crazy. I was going to ask Crew about it, but, Crew has so much to talk about. He has so much on his plate that we'll have to ask him about that another day. But really quick, guys, it's almost that time. So we're going to go around the round table, if you will. And Matt Denton, how can everyone get in touch with you, sir? And what do you have upcoming on your own podcast, sir?
This Sunday, I have to step in for the now deceased Eddie Lane. Rest in peace. I think he died from diabetes. That's what I heard anyway.
That's going to be me.
Yeah, that's going to be you, but you haven't died from diabetes yet because you're still here, unfortunately. So I'll be co-hosting Beyond Ringside with Wicked Nemesis and whoever else decides to come on. Don't believe Mark Bowman's there anymore, which is a damn shame. A damn shame. Before that, maybe a couple of hours before that, the TWO Community Podcast, twopodcast.co.uk, talking about Monday Night Raw, which I still haven't seen yet, so that's going to be a bundle of fun. Wrestling news, discussion, what have you. Found out this week that RVD's Twisted Perception, the comic book that I worked on, has been given a publishing contract. Not quite the contract most people wanted to hear that RVD had signed, but there you go. But I'm fucking happy. Maybe means more money for me. So look for that in shop soon, and visit me at viciousprism.com and follow me on Twitter at Words from Prism, where I make jokes about the deaf.
Marley Matlin. Corey, what are you going to support this weekend, sir?
Sorry, Wicked. And please follow Kylie at Ninja Britches on Twitter. We're making a comic book about me tearing my nut, and my nut will have like a little lucha mask and a little fucking stretcher and a wheelchair and stuff. It's going to be really fun. Corey, please continue.
Corey, what events are you going to support this weekend, sir?
The local Dairy Queen here in Ackworth, Georgia, and the local Popeye's Chicken.
Oh, that's horrible.
But no wrestling events. I run a bail bond office, so I work most weekends. It's hard to get off and watch some good show. If you could, I really, really wanted to go see the Joyce Grable show this weekend. Looks like Tasha's going to have to kick my ass some other time.
And Tasha, you mentioned it earlier, but Corey, make sure the Facebook fan page, sir.
Facebook.com, the Smarkrage on Twitter. There you go.
And Tasha, I know you mentioned it already, but if you will, for those just joining us, your event this Saturday, ma'am.
This is it, the event this Saturday, and I actually have the information in front of me as I'm stuffing my face with baked chicken right now. This Saturday, Blue Ridge, Georgia, Fannin County High School, their old gym. The address is 360 Rebel Circle. The doors are going to be open at 5:30 that afternoon. The bell time is actually 7 o'clock. Adults tickets are $10. They're all GA as far as I know. Ages 12 and under are $5. If anybody would like to call for more information, the number is 706-889-1803. For the people who missed what I said earlier, there are going to be, as long as Miss Sue Green is able to show up, there will be at least 4 generations of NWA Women's World Champions, either as singles champions or tag champions, on hand this Saturday in Blue Ridge, Georgia. That's something that you don't see very often. You're going to be seeing several different generations of women's professional wrestlers in the ring. Some of us are just wrestlers. Some of them are going to be girls in tights. As long as the girls in tights stay out of my way, it'll be just fine. As long as the marks stay the hell away from me, it'll be even better. I'm there for a professional wrestling card to support a lady who helped pave the way for women in a man's world, and that's Miss Joyce Grable. Like I said, for anybody who missed it earlier, she was diagnosed with leukemia, and in this wonderful world of Obama land that we live in now, this lady has no insurance. She put a lot of time in the ring for a lot of people to be entertained by. It's time for us to give her something back.
And how can everyone get in touch with you?
They can send me food and smoke signals, and I'll be more than happy to answer. I'm sorry. They can reach me by email, serious booking requests, as well as requests for the most amazing wrestling gear ever. You can send me an email at Tasha Simone, NWA@gmail.com. You can find me at my call name at Tasha F. Simone on Twitter, and you can find me on Facebook as well. I never can remember the address, so just look for Tasha Simone and you'll find me. And apparently the Internet gods decided that they were not going to cancel my webpage, so you can also find me on the Internet at www.tashasimone.com.
Oh, wait, that Facebook page is facebook.com/Tasha.Simone1.
And that, people, is why I love Matt Denton, because he always has my back, even when I have a mouthful of food. He can't talk, damn it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Friday night, Oak Mountain Amphitheater. The Unlucky Charms is high definition. Cody O'Connor's first time in the ring since his injury about a month or so ago at the hands of the Unlucky Charms. Also Saturday night, Pale City. Damon Christopher, common knowledge, Damon Christopher, one half of your GCW Tag Team Champions, will be in singles action. Also, at Wicked Nemesis on Twitter, Wicked Nemesis Enoch on Facebook, on YouTube, Enoch Cesarian on Facebook. There is a The To Be Determined Show Facebook fan page, Unlucky Charms Facebook fan page, a Wicked Nemesis, and, of course, as we mentioned, a Smarkrage. Thank you all that have come on and listened. Thank you for everybody that has taken the time on a Wednesday night, to some people now a Thursday morning. This is the To Be Determined Show for Tasha Simone.
For Smarkrage.
For Smarkrage. Okay, for Matt Denton.
For Molly Matlin.
For Ninja Britches.
Oh, Lord. God have mercy. This is the To Be Determined Show. Thank you, Crew Johnson.
Wait a minute. I don't have a mouthful of food now. So we'll do this right. For Tasha Simone, yes, I intend to piss more people off. And next week I'll tell you how I really feel about Smarkrage. I love you all. Thank you.
I think she's going to call me out next week, guys. I'm scared for my life.
You should be.
Crew Jones, thank you for coming on NWA Atlanta this weekend. Big props to member Progression Pro Wrestling. Also, next week, Zombie Rick Rude will be on, as well as John Williams from Georgia Wrestling Now, and perhaps the Washington Bullets. We'll see. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, thank you all. This is the To Be Determined Show, the Wicked Nemesis. We're out, everybody. Thank you.